Hey yo, what's up everybody? This is Alex Rome from AlexRomeSound.com, and today I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can make your bass line more powerful and just flat out better. And these are 3 things you can do in every song, and these are 3 things you must do when you make your next song. And this will ensure you that your bass line will indeed sound really good and powerful. What's up, Mike? I know you guys know Mike. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play this real quick. Is he eating my lights? Is he really? He's really eating my lights. Alright, let's listen to this bass line again, and I'm going to bring it in full. He's eating my lights. That's ridiculous. I need a refund for this cat. Mike, stop eating my lights. Hear that fat sub bass? Alright, damn dude, everything in the song is just really blaringly loud. I guess it's just a mixing thing. But anyway, this is what we got. And rule number 1 to make sure your bass line is that fat is to always make sure it's side chained. Not just any side chain. You have to focus specifically on your sub bass when you're side chaining it, because that's the one that's going to be closest to the kick. And sub bass is the most delicate element in your entire mix. Why is sub bass so delicate? It's hard to put into words. It's like one of those things that's tough to explain. But it's because as you get lower on the EQ spectrum, elements get more and more delicate. So your kick gets delicate down here as well, because your kick does show a lot of sub frequencies, and if anything crashes into that, it takes away from your kick. On the flip side, if anything crashes into your sub bass, it crashes into your sub bass, or it takes away from your sub bass. So what we do, because kicks and basses take up the same frequency spectrum, we sidechain our bass to the kick. Now in this case, I don't need a compressor to sidechain to this kick right here. All I need is something like this, a little LFO tool. Hear how it adds that nice rock and rolliness, where if I turn it off, it's kind of flat and boring. Here's another tip with sidechaining. This is something that not a lot of people talk about, and I'm just discovering is really important. See the slope at which the bass line comes back in? Well, when you electronically build this slope with a compressor to sidechain, there's actually a very interesting way you can set up the release time so that it works with your BPM perfectly. Because sometimes release times don't actually work with your BPM. Now, the good thing about Nicky Romero's Kickstart is this automatically syncs with your BPM. So I would think that in all of these different curves and settings you could pick within this LFO tool, you can find a sidechain that actually works well with that BPM. Now, if you have a sidechain that doesn't work well with your the BPM in which your song is written, it's just not gonna sound good and tight. Your entire song will sound good and tight. But there you go. That's number 1, sidechain. Number 2. What the fuck was number 2? Oh yeah. Like I said, sub bass is the most delicate instrument or sound in your entire song. How can we make sure that it's untouched and uninterrupted? Because that's ultimately your job, especially in a genre like EDM where the bass line kind of runs the show. Here's what you could do. Make sure every layer besides the kick and the sub bass itself have a little one of these on it right here. It's called a low cut. You turn this on right here and you cut out the lows to every layer besides the kick and the sub bass. Snares are different. Snares like to be hot right here, so you want to be careful when low cutting a snare. I would advise not to even low cut snares all the time, but snares are hot around this area here. Sometimes they're hot in the 200s. That's why I kind of avoid low cutting snares. But make sure everything else has a big low cut on it so that it doesn't crash into your sub bass. Why? Because your sub bass is delicate. By the way, did you guys know I had a course available at courses.alexromsound.com where it shows the entire production of a song, from production through mixing through mastering? What? I didn't know you didn't know that. Go check it out at courses.alexromsound.com. But anyway, yeah, guys, that low cutting rule, I've never made a track in my recent years without doing that. So remember that. Number 3, this is something that nobody ever talks about. I watch tutorials all the time because I try to see what other teachers are teaching. And none of them ever say this, and this bothers me because it's one of the most important things, especially with the modernization of EDM, like the evolution of EDM. This is extremely, extremely important. Make sure your bass rhythmically aligns with your leads and your chords if you want a song that sounds tight and big. If your bass line doesn't rhythmically align, like, that's okay. But don't expect your bass line to be thick and fat and everything else to sound really big if you don't do this. There's 2 types of ways to lay down a bass line. It's either it aligns with everything rhythmically, or rhythmically doesn't, and that'll cause a loose sound in your whole song. So when you listen to your to the most professional songs available to you on all your favorite labels, you hear this big tightness and professionalism in how those songs are layered, and you're like, what the hell is causing that? Rhythm is causing that. A lot of the times, these bass lines are rhythmically aligned with everything through every other melodic layer throughout the leads. So if my bass line's doing this, if you think it sounds like there's a little bit of reverb on there, you guessed it, there is. On the master. I love putting reverb on the master. It's actually a really cool trick to tie everything together and make everything sound like one thing. Next time you master a song, slap a little tiny bit of non-fancy reverb on it. Small room. So you wouldn't put a thick, like, vintage Valhalla on there. You would put, like, Logic Pro X's Chroma Verb, or if you're in Ableton, just like a shitty reverb with small room. Watch how that ties everything together. It's really sick. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Let's rhythmically align with this bass line. These chords I took directly from a Splice sample. I was like, yo, I gotta remake that. Is that my... Oh, this is my sub bass. That's why it sounded so small. So this is my high bass, and obviously the high bass is going to rhythmically align with the sub bass, and the chords are going to rhythmically align with both of them to create the fat sound. And once you get that rhythm set up, once those things are rhythmically aligned, now it's up to you to figure out how to match the drums to those things. So, like, when I listen to this bass line, I automatically want to be, like, rocking and rolling and, ooh, yeah, I want to start moving like if I were at a rave or something. So then what I do is I build a drum line that rhythmically aligns with what we got going on here. And I know you guys are going to remember this from a couple videos ago. But I ended up actually taking these out and putting this in here. So next time you want everything to glue together, remember, think about the rhythm. There's more to it than just EQing and sidechaining and the sound of the bass. You want everything to sound like it comes together and is glued together, and that's all in the rhythm. That's what makes music insane! EDM, I love EDM. Leave your comments in the comment section below, good or bad. And of course, leave a like on this video. Subscribe here if you're new and turn on the little bell for notifications. Check out AlexFromSound.com for all my services and sound banks and courses and stuff like that. And make sure you just watch my videos every single day, because this is every time I learn something crazy, this is where I share it. Peace out, guys.